Okay, so let's start. So this is our lecture for information assurance, and security 2. So let's start with this word. Okay, so before we read this, our inspirational message, let's think about relate this into security. So when we are referring to security, bakit kailangan natin yung security? Because we wanted safety. So safety physically, emotionally, or mentally. So those are things. Financial security. So it's part of it. Yung security na pinag-usapan natin, so IT security, IT asset security, infrastructure security. At sa buhay din pala natin, meron din talaga tayo. So, ganon, everyday life, we encounter this security. Pag walang tayong security, what are we going to feel? We feel anxious, feel worried, pwede itong mag-side effect ng um, depressions, pwedeng magkaroon ng ng mga negative physical outcome, pwede tayong ma-high blood, pwedeng mag-faint out, di ba, pag mayroon tayong stress. Okay, but with all of that, God is telling us that let's trust Him, okay, for our security. When you trust the Lord, in peace I will lie down and sleep. For you alone, Lord, make me dwell in safety. So yung perfect security ay ng kay Lord pa din. So itong dito sa mundo, this is just temporary things na pwedeng mag-fail. So if you're going to put your security sa tao, pwede siyang mag-fail. Kung sa nanay, sa husband, or sa relationship, this all can fail, but God cannot fail. And sa IT naman, so this one here, this is the avenue how to gain security. So yun yung pinag-uusapan natin. Okay, the first topic is what we call the SIM. SIM is a information system. It's a system na ginagamit. It's like, ito yung parang, central point. SIM is called the security information and event management. Ano yung ginagawa ng SIM? It's combined the event management and security information management. Saan nakikita yung SIM? It is located in the security of SOC, Security Operation Center. So dito nasi-centralize yung lahat ng concern sa security. Kung meron tayong IT department, kung meron tayong MICT, mga related sa IT department, kung meron tayong cleaning department, maintenance department, meron ding department ang security. Ang tawag natin doon ay SOC. Ano yung pinakakailangan dun sa SOC as tools nila? Ito yung discussion natin. This is the tools that we need to use in implementing security. And one of the most important na kailangan sa SOC is the SIM. Okay? Ano yung role ng SIM? It is a centralized logs from across the networks, firewalls, servers, and applications. It provides the visibility into potential threats and abnormal activity. It's enable faster incident detection and response. It's help enforce security policy and standard, support security operation teams, and proactive defense. So kung yung SIMs, ang role niya is, ito yung pinaka-central. Okay, it's have a centralized logs data across network. Cover niya ang firewall, servers, and application. Makikita niya ang potential threats. It enable faster incident detection. It enforce security policies and standard. So dito, yan, tinitingnan kung ito ba ay following the compliance. So ng mga ISO standards, security standards, NIST standards. So those are framework or standard na kailangan i-follow or pinapollow ng mga organization para masabi na we are secure. Okay. Next is support security operation teams and proactive defense. O ito for proactive defense. Okay. So, itong SIMS is just a tool. So, let us remember that. SIMS is just a tool. We need a person that can handle the SIM. Sino yung mananagot, sino yung dapat na ultimate mag-decide. So, this is just tulong. Makikita yung mga logs, mag-alert. So, dapat meron pa rin na aako ng kasalanan if something fails. Okay? So, parang di ba, last Holy Week, we just have this Passion of the Christ. Bakit nga ba si Christ pinako? Because someone need to accept, kumbaga, para magkaroon na sino yung sisisihin sa lahat ng kasalanan sa mundo. It is Christ. Yan yun. So, hindi pwede na walang a-accept ng kasalanan. At hindi pwede yung SIM. Kasi dito, pag terms of security, okay, i-blame natin yung SIM. Hindi kasi siya nag-work. Hindi. Kailangan pa rin merong tao na nag-handle nito. And they are the one, this SIM is just a tools for these people in the security department. Okay, so let's have our first keyword para you will remember. Let's have, the first keyword is the cross. Cross, sabihin, dun sa cross na yun yung, it symbolize who will be to blame if in terms of failure. Okay, so here, SIM is a tool. So ano-ano yung mga SIMs, ano yung mga pangalan nila. So these are just samples from different companies. So we have the Splunk, IBM QRadar, the ArcSight, and the ELK stocks. Itong Splunk, ano yung main time search and dashboard. So yan ang makikita. Anong advantage? It is scalable and user-friendly. So user-friendly, ang limitation ay high cost. Okay. Next is IBM QRadar, threat detection and correlations. Advantage, strong analytic and integration. Ano yung limitation? Yan, complex setup. Next is the ArcSight from other companies. O yan. Ito naman, dahil sabi nga natin, SIMs enable us to find if the company is on the standard. Okay, so yan. Sa ArcSight, titingnan niya kung compliance ba. So, mayroong compliance reporting, enterprise grade features, and step learning curve. Yeah. Next is the ELK stocks. It is an open source SIMs. It is customizable, and it is also cost-effective and requires more configuration. Okay, requires more configuration. Kabaliktaran siya ng advantage ni Splunk, which is user-friendly. Ano naman ang downside dito? This is open source, and this one is high cost. Okay, libre, hindi libre. So, mayroong mga downside. Okay, ano ang tinatawag natin na logs and event analysis? It is under the SIM tools, praise and normalization log from various sources. So within the SIMs, ano yung mga logs? Yung pinaka-highlight ni SIMs is yung logs and event analysis. It is a event correlations that identifies pattern across the system. It detects suspicious behavior like multiple failed login, access outside working hours. So, multiple logins, ulit ng ulit, nagtatry mag-login, baka nagbo-brute force attack na yan. So, makikita siya ni SIM. Another is the access outside working hours. So, yung isang tao, alam natin na ang pasok niya is 8 to 5, bakit siya naglalagin sa system? So, baka remote, mayroon nang nag-remote access dun sa workstation inside the organization. Next is the data exfiltration attempt. Gustong i-exfiltrate yung data, gustong ilabas. So maybe in a hardware form, saving in a hardware like USB, a hard disk, or in a network. So yan, nakikita sa logs and event analysis. Next is alert and automated response can be integrated. So makikita natin mamaya that there is also other tools na gamit for security, and those are also managed under the SIM. Pero iba siya. Mamaya. Ano yun? SIMs for compliance and forensics, we have to to meet the to help the standard like the HIPAA, PCI, PDSS, GDPR, which is the standard. Standard ito ng iba't ibang bansa. So, depende kung saang country ka, nakatira. So, kung mo sa Pilipinas, ano yung karaniwang standard natin na meron tayo na aprobado or pwedeng magkaroon ng pataw sa batas? We have the Cybersecurity Act, we have the Data Privacy Act. So, those are compliance na kailangan mag-comply. So, ano yung ngayon pag hindi nag-comply? So, tutulong si SIMS para magkaroon ng compliance. Next is, it provide the audit trail for accountability. It support the forensic investigation by preserving log history. It's enabled a detailed timeline, reconstruction, and incidents. So, bottom line, it is assist in both proactive defense and post-incident forensic. When you say post-incident forensic, there is already an event happen. Meron ng data breach, meron ng DDoS attack, so may nangyari na. So, yung SIMS, tutulong siya para mahanapan, maimbestigahan. So, it's add in the accountability. And then, and tracing. Yan. Next, so we have the antivirus and endpoint protection solution for enterprises. When say antivirus, di ba? When you say antivirus, pwede siyang nakalagay sa server, may antivirus na siya, yung mga database server, and also yung nasa mga workstation natin. Kaya siya tinawag na endpoint protection solution. Yung mismong ginagamit na ng mga user na endpoint. Okay. Antivirus. So, yung mga antivirus natin, meron tayong mga features na noon wala for a certain antivirus. Kailangan po siyang i-activate. Ito yung mga nagbabago. Mga new features ng antivirus. Okay. So, first is the signature-based detection. Paano ba naggagana itong modern antiviruses? Yan, much known malware signatures. So, yung signature, yan yung tinitrace. Next is the heuristic analysis. Detect unknown threat by analyzing the behavior. Okay. Behavior, remote program, and running program. Okay, it's detect unknown. Unknown. Ibig sabihin, wala pa siyang signature kaya sa unknown. Next is the real-time protection. Scan files and processes as they are assessed or executed. Real-time. So, habang in-execute yung files, nagkakaroon ng protections. So, real-time. Unlike before, kasi ito sa mga modern antiviruses, before, kailangan mo na siyang i-scan bago mo buksan. But today, we have the real-time protection. Next is the cloud-based threat intelligence. So, kung may in relation to the signature base, yung signature base, naka-existing na siya, known malware signature. Yung cloud-based, like, kanina pa lang or sa ibang bansa, hindi natin alam, meron pa lang nangyaring attack. So, that would be parts kung maimbestigahan. Paano yun nangyari? Ano yung yung kung paano siya nangyari i-record, okay, ganito, ito yung magiging new signature. I-add natin siya dun sa threat intelligence. Cloud-based kasi, big sabihin, global. Okay, hindi siya offline lang na, okay, ito yung mga kilala kong mga malware. So, dito sa global resources, it can have the latest, pinaka-known threats that exist. Next, the endpoint detection and response. Next, here Endpoint detection, ibig sabihin yung mismong workstation muna. It has an advanced hunting, response, and analytics. Next is the firewall integration. It's control traffic at the endpoint level. Device control, it prevent unauthorized. So itong tatlo, as you can see, kaya itong gawin sa mga policies. Okay, sa workstation. Ayan. So, yung pag-prevent ng device, yung pag-updates, and application whitelisting and blacklisting, ginagawa siya ng viruses, antiviruses. Pero, pwede rin naman siyang gawin natin using the policy. Let me have a little break. Mayroon lang an emergency. Sorry, gutom na rin ba kayo? Ayan. Ayan, kung nandito pa nga kayo at kaya pang i-survive, ayan, can I have a thumbs up? Ay, gutom na. Ayan, gising pa si Danica. Ay, medyo naglalag yung aking ano. Okay. So, let's continue. So, here yung tatlong ito, alam niyo naman na kaya natin tong gawin sa Windows lang without even installing an antivirus. So with that, when you say endpoint protection, sabi ko nga kanina, yung endpoint, yung mismong ano yan, yung pinakadulo ng network. So yung yung farthest node. So in here, ang ano yung importance ng effectiveness ng endpoint protection? It provides us the antivirus and ano yan, ayun, endpoint detection and response, EDR. And it's have the behavior analysis and user control. And here, in the zero-day threat, dahil nga naka-endpoint siya, hindi madadamay lahat. And then, dahil dyan, there will be a behavior and AI-based analysis that detect novel attacks. When you say novel, wala pang ganon na known, wala pa siya sa signature database. Okay? So that would be keyword number 2, the 0 day. Next is the threat containment. Since endpoint lang, so dun lang affected sa isang node na yon, it's isolate compromised device to prevent a lateral spread. Another is centralized management. It ensures policy enforcement and monitoring across all devices. Ano naman yung challenges? Dahil nga endpoint protection siya, what if hindi siya? What if fileless? Walang ma-scan kasi nandun siya. It's just a running program. Walang nakasave sa sa hardware. Nasa ano lang siya. Read-only memory or sa memories lang. Okay? So, with that, mahirapan ang antiviruses kasi wala siyang ma-scan currently running. Next is a social engineering bypasses technical controls. Okay? Social engineering, sabi nga, there are more effective social engineering attacks than the actual technical attacks. So you need to search a data for that. Next is it requires continuous monitoring and response capabilities. And what is the best practice? Dapat regularly updates for threat intelligence feed, integrate with SIEMs for broader visibility. Okay, so dito na naman si SIEMs. Sabi ko nga sa inyo, SIEM is the heart of the SOC, the Security Operations Center. Next, there must be an employee awareness and response readiness. So yung bawat isa na gumagamit ng isang IT asset, like ng computer, must be aware how to protect and mitigate possible attacks. So let's go now to the next one. We have the firewalls, next generation and traditional. So say firewalls, so fires and walls, diba? So sa firewalls, meron yang gateway or gate wherein na dito dadaan yung authorized transactions. Yung tawag natin doon is ano lang, ano yan, gatekeeper. Okay, dun sa gatekeeper, dun nagkakaroon ng interactions kung pwedeng pumasok or hindi pwedeng pumasok yung isang ports or pwedeng makipag-communicate or isang IP addresses. And we also know what's the difference between traditional and the next generation. Okay, so let's first define firewalls. Ano yung, paano niya ginagawa yung protection? Paano siya ano yung na-contribute niya? It's filter outgoing and incoming traffic based on rules. Okay, rules. Ito na yung may mga, okay, IP address na ganito, hindi pwede. IP address na ganito, pwede. Since it's, filter traffic. Next is the perimeter defense is as a gatekeeper between internal and external. Gatekeeper, papasok at palabas. Okay. From internal to external. Next is access management. It block unauthorized access, restrict dangerous port or protocols. Advantage, advanced capabilities, and ito na, sa new generation, meron siyang application level, user identification, and malware inspection. So to elaborate more, ano yung pagkakaiba ng traditional sa new generation? Ayan, i-segregate natin. Yung traditional, yung traditional, ito yon na yun, traffic lang ang yung pag-filter out niya ng traffic is based on IP address. While in the next generation, it's include application level. So naalala natin, 'di ba, yung ISO, yung all people seems to need data processing. So yung all, ano yung all? Yung A, application, P, yung presentation layer. Yung every level na yon, kaya niya, within the next generation, kaya niyang i-filter out until application level. While si traditional hanggang dun sa network level, yung IP addresses, ports, and protocols. So, next is, ang awareness, so hanggang dahil nga hanggang IP addresses lang siya, layer 3 or 4. While next generation hanggang layer 7, inspection, which is the application. And in intrusion detection and prevention, sa traditional, kailangan mong bumili or mag-install ng IDS, IPS. Sa next generation, naka-integrate na yung IDS-IPS. So next topic natin discussion yung IDS-IPS. Next is the threat intelligence. Under traditional, not included. Di niya alam kung ano, bawa, there's an IP address na known for scamming. So, sa next generation, pwede niya yung makita sa real-time threat intelligence feed. Sa traditional, wala. Hindi niya yun kayang makontrol. Next is the user identification. Traditional is it uses IP address, IP base, dahil layer 3 and 4 or 4. While next generation, hanggang sa layer 7, kaya niyang identify yung user, integrate with user directories. Next is the malware inspection. Walang support kay traditional. It is included in the next generation firewalls. Capabilities, ano pa yung other capabilities ni next generation firewalls? It's analyze traffics, packet payload. Yan. Si traditional firewalls, kaya niya identify yung packets and the IP address. Pero si next generation, yung mismong dala-dala. Di ba yung packets, meron siyang header, meron siyang destination and source, pero meron siyang laman na payload. So yung payload, kayang tingnan ni NGFS. And ano ba yung nandun sa payload? Meron ba itong policy violation? Meron ba itong files ba to na di pwedeng ilabas? Okay. It will see malicious behavior. Next is application awareness and control. Identifies application like Facebook, Zoom, regardless of ports and protocols. So with this, it's enable application-based access control according to the organization policy. Kung sabi ni organization, bawal mag-Facebook, so kayang i-control ni next generation. Next is integrated threat intelligence. So sinabi ko na rin to kanina na within this, threat intelligence, kaya niyang makita yung global threat database and automatically block unknown malicious. And so let's have keyword number 3. Ayan, keyword number 3 is malicious. Okay. And then, malicious IP address, URL, and filters. Next, user identification. So, yung kaya nating implement yung user, yung rule-based and role-based using the group policy, yung tinatawag natin na domain name server, yung DNS, activating the Active Directory. So, sinabi ko na to sa inyo. So, na-activate natin to sa mga pag naglalagay tayo ng sa mga server natin, ina-activate natin yung DNS na siya yung magkocontrol kung sino yung gagamit. So with that, pag mayroon tayong account, kahit sa ang computer tayo within a network, kaya natin ilagin yung ating username and with assigned password. And we can see our file since it is according to the policy. Next is the SSL and TLS inspection. It decrypt encrypted traffic to inspect the content with caution and privacy consideration. So yung encrypted file, i-decrypt. Yan, for inspection. Next is the sandboxing and malware detections. Here, analysis suspicious file in a safe environment before allowing them through. And mamaya, madadaanan ulit natin yung comparison. Yan. Sandboxing. Sandboxing, di ba? Pag yung box siya, so in a physical definition of sandboxing, hindi yung IT definition, but box, and then merong sand sa loob. So whatever is happening inside that sand, hindi makakalabas sa outer environment. So ganun din sa sa IT, yung ibig sabihin natin dito sa sandboxing and security. Ibig sabihin, niraran natin yung isang suspicious program inside the sandbox. Hindi niya maapektuhan yung other files. Okay? So yan. So that is next generation firewalls. Now, let's go to what I'm already told you kanina, the IDS-IPS, which is also part of the next generation. Integrated na siya. Ano nga ba ang IDS-IPS? What's the difference? So, let's define IDS-IPS by differentiating it. Okay. Yung IDS, it's monitor and alerts on suspicious activity. While IPS, it's monitor and block or prevent malicious traffic. So, yan yung pagkakaiba. Next is its position, passive, out of bound, and does not block. While the IPS, it's inline active and can block, terminate traffic. Next is reactive, alert only for IDS, while IPS is proactive, automated response. Impact on the traffic. Ayan, impact on the traffic, walang impact. Kasi nga, ano lang siya alert lang. Pero kay IPS, it may introduce latency. So when within the traffic, pwedeng magkaroon ng congestion, pwedeng i-shutdown niya yung isang traffic kasi akala niya or nakita niya na merong malicious activity. Next is the false positive. Yan, false positive, ibig sabihin, nag-alert siya. Okay, this is a malicious attack. This is a virus. This is a worm. Pero pag IDS, less critical. It will give you an alert. Yan, alert. Pag nangyari yung false positive, okay lang. Kasi nag-alert ka. Pag naman, hindi naman pala. Pero pag IPS siya, can cause disruption if not tuned properly. Kasi pag IPS, automatic, i-stop niya na. I-block niya na. Kaya kung halimbawa false positive yan, sabi niya, this is malicious, let's terminate this. So magkakaroon ng disruption. Kaya, kailangan ng fine-tuning. Okay, next is the keyword number 4 is threat. So, IDS, IPS, and network security monitoring. So, in the network, it's detect, it's identify malware, sport scan, brute force attack, and policy violations. So, it's detect suspicious behavior that firewalls may miss. Okay, firewall may miss. Next, IP address, di dapat na, kasi firewalls, di ba, sa traditional, more on IP addresses lang. Okay, pag sa modern, IPS, kaya niyang i-detect. That's why, dapat next generation firewalls na. Next is, traffic analysis, examine packet header and payloads. It's also had log activity for forensic investigation and compliance. It has real-time alert and response. IDS is an alert. IPS is an automatically drop or block. Hindi lang basta alert, kundi i-drop or block niya siya. Next is, IDS to IPS must be integrated. So, andito na naman, di ba? The SIEM and the SOAP. So, feeds data into SIEM for correlation and trend analysis. It has visibility on security operations center. So, yung SOC, ito yung department that handles security. Ano yung mga tools nila doon? The SIEM, the IDS, IPS, the firewalls. So, uses, it's detect, zero-day exploit and lateral movement, and prevent command and control communication. Okay. Yan. Ano yung configuring and deploying firewalls. Iba-iba kasi yung ginagawa ng mga tools na to. Iba ang ginagawa ni firewalls, iba ang ginagawa ni IPS and IDS. Do ini-integrate na paunti-unti yung mga functions nito. Yan. At pinapasok natin siya, yung data, pinapasok natin sa SIEM. Okay. So, in firewall, ang kailangan natin i-consider sa pag-configure ng firewall, it must be in a least privilege principle. And since it is a least privilege principle, it's allow only necessary services, hindi lang services kundi or ports. And then this must be regularly update on set of rules. For IDS IPS configuration, place sensor and key network segment. Ano yung key network segment na yun? The internal LAN and the DFC are delimitarized zone na dito nangyayari yung testing kung ano ba to, malicious ba o hindi. Next, there must be a fine tune or there must be tuned to reduce false positive. So ito na yung sinasabi natin na kailangan malaman natin kung false positive ba to. Ayan, dapat find or tune properly. So, kailangan maraming criteria para malaman totoo ba talaga na ito ay malicious o hindi. Kasi kung hindi, nakaroon tayo ng false positive, it will disrupt the operation. Next is integrated with SIM for visibility. Okay? Best practices, dapat regular testing and update, centralized login alert, policy reviews, and auditing. Okay. Okay, I forgot to tell the keyword number 5. Nilipasan ko na, pero nandito naman siya. Keyword number 5 is sandboxing. This is keyword number 5, sandboxing. Keyword number 6, okay, dito. So, for IDS and IPS comparison, let's think of like we put a bell sa ano yan, sa pintuan. Pag yung bell, pag gumagalaw, tutunog siya. So, ganun yung ano natin, pwedeng i-illustrate natin kay IDS. Si IDS, para lang siyang bell. Pag bumukas yung pinto, tutunog siya. O ilagay natin sa bintana. Pag bumukas yung bintana, tutunog siya. There are cases na baka humangin lang, tapos tumunog. Wala naman palang magnanakaw, wala naman palang pumasok. So, kailangan ng manual na tingnan. So, yun yung IDS. Okay. Yung IPS naman, ano siya, bumukas yung pinto. Titingnan, automatic niya na meron siyang parang predictive. Dahil nga meron siyang fine-tuning, so yun yung, titingnan yung criteria, ay bawal pumasok sa bintana. So, automatic, i-close niya yung bintana. So, yun yung pwede nating ma-relate dito. Si IDS, alert lang. Tapos tingnan, okay, pusa lang naman. Okay, ano yun? False positive. Kay PS, ano yan? Kailangan mo ng, i-terminate niya kaagad. Yan, kailangan ng fine-tuning. So, the keyword number 6 is the bell. While keyword number 7 is tune. Okay? So, let's summarize. Okay, I will have that next meeting. Okay, the topic that we discussed is the SIEM, the antiviruses, and APS, the endpoint protection, and then the firewalls and the next generation versus the traditional. So the quiz would be a keyword base and last the topic base. That would be all muna for today. And then dito po, dito sa groupings,